Hello students. Now we shall look at thermodynamics. Basically it's a science of relationship between heat and work. We use vehicles for transport like small scooty, bike, car, truck, train, aeroplane. We use power generated by thermal power plants, nuclear power plants. We use gas turbines for power generation. We use air conditioning system. We use refrigeration systems. In all these systems, there is interaction between heat and work. Like in transport vehicles, we use fuel, liquid fuel, like petrol and diesel, which is converted heat burnt, and then the heat energy is converted into work. Okay, and similarly, in the case of refrigeration and air conditioning, we use electricity, okay, to run a motor, and that transfers the heat. So either heat is converted to work or work is converted to heat. These systems, when we discuss, and we want to discuss the performance of the systems also, you are all aware that whatever oil, gas, coal we have got in the earth crust is very finite in nature. It is depleting, fast depleting, and it is told that another 40-50 years oil will not be there, another 100 years coal will not be there. So what is the source of energy for the future generations? One thing. Second aspect is the environmental pollution. When you burn coal, petrol, diesel, you see the black smoke coming. So many pollutants are emerging out of that, be it carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur, particulate matter, lead, so many benzene, so many compounds. Already we had COVID for 6 months now. I am very sure that in days to come, yesterday I was reading the Arctic ice has shrunk very much. If the ice melts, what will happen? If the ice melts, it will convert into water. Water level in the sea will increase. See, when the ocean water level increases, all these small islands, cities on the shores of the oceans will submerge. So these are very disastrous effects. That is why we have to study thermodynamics so that we improve the efficiency of these equipments, reduce the fossil fuel consumption, and increase the renewable energy. Okay, that is the basic fundamentals why we study thermodynamics, thermo and dynamics, heat, work. Okay. So it deals with all kinds of energy like mechanical, thermal, heat, chemical, electrical, etc. Okay. And it also deals with the behavior of gases and vapors. That is especially in like steam power plant. Steam power plant, you are using steam. Like your Kaiga nuclear power plant. What happens there? Nuclear reaction is there. Heat is produced. That heat is carried away heavy water. Then that transfers it to the normal water. Normal water gets converted into steam, superheated steam. That is expanded in a turbine, which is coupled to a generator, and electricity is produced. So we have to study how this steam is changing phases. Okay, these all relationships we will study in thermodynamics. And this mechanical energy component we call it as work. Okay, whether rotation of shaft or movement of object from one place to another place. So thermodynamics has basically 4 laws. There are 4 laws to thermodynamics. First law, second law, and third law. And they found out one more law. So but that law is the basic law, like temperature, which talks about temperature. So they called it as zeroth law. Okay. The zeroth law explains thermal equilibrium and established the concept of temperature. So basically, the zeroth law talks about thermal equilibrium, and because of zeroth law, we have come out with a concept called of temperature. So these thermodynamics and all 300 years back story it is. So please try to understand. That time they defined the concept of temperature. As of today, you are aware because you know they use IR gun, they take the temperature. So you are aware now. But just imagine those years So first they have to define the concept of temperature. Then the first law of thermodynamics, you know that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So this gives the concept of internal energy. Okay. And the second law shows the limit of converting heat to work and work to heat also, and thus it establishes the principles of increase in entropy. So this law talks about entropy. Okay. So whatever heat we supply to the bike engine, suppose 1 liter of petrol is burnt, so that in that only 1/3 is used for power generation, 2/3 goes as a cooling heat or even the exhaust heat. So it is not that 100% of the whatever heat energy is supplied to the engine gets converted into work. Okay, only 30 to 40% get converted, but rest 60% is lost in the form of heat or engine cooling water or cooling air. And the third law describes the absolute zero. See, you should know what is the lowest temperature we can reach. The lowest temperature we can reach is minus 273 degrees centigrade, also known as 0 Kelvin. So at that time the entropy all is 0. Entropy is the disorderliness in any system is 0. So these are the 4 laws. Now first to study this thermodynamics, we have to study first a system. What is a system? Okay. Now you take any system like your bike engine only. Bike engine, if I take, what happens in a bike engine? I am supplying petrol, I am supplying air, and the exhaust gases are going out of the engine, right? And the engine also doing work. Engine is doing taking heat energy inside and throwing out heat energy as well as doing work, and there is a heat interaction between the engine and the surroundings. So if I take the engine as a system, now you can see the energy is coming in and energy is going out. Okay, and there is system boundary like cylinder wall. If I take as a system boundary, then that becomes a boundary. So there is transfer of energy inside, there is transfer inside and outside, there is transfer of mass inside and outside, that is fuel coming, exhaust going on. So this becomes a open system. This becomes a open system. Here in open system, energy like that is heat and work, we can call it as energy, and mass, that is like fuel and exhaust gases, that is going out, in and out. So this is known as the open system. Okay. Now take any other system like your pressure cooker. Now your pressure cooker, you have put some rice for boiling. Okay. Now what happens here? You are supplying heat energy to the pressure cooker. Okay. And the heat is also, some heat is going out through the radiation from the pressure cooker. Okay, because that is high temperature. Any body which is above 0 degrees Kelvin, which means has any temperature or heat, will always radiate. So it is emitting radiation, energy is going out in the form of heat. But whatever the rice is there inside, it is not going out. No? I am interested in basically boiling the rice. That rice is not going out. No? So there is no mass transfer. So I will call that as a closed system. I will call this as a closed system. And third, we will take the case of a thermos flask. Now what happens to a thermos flask? Thermos flask, suppose I fill it with hot cup of coffee, fully kept at hot condition. What happens? Now it is closed. So any heat interaction is there? No, because whatever hot is there, that continues to remain hot in the thermos flask. Okay, there is no heat exchange between the thermos and the surroundings, and also there is no mass transfer because I already filled it with coffee. I am not taking it out. So now in this case there is no mass transfer. So this is known as isolated system. So these are the 3 types of system. One is open system where mass transfer is allowed. Energy transfer is also allowed between the system and the surroundings. Okay. And second is a closed system. Closed system where energy transfer can take place. Heat can come in, go out. Work can come in, work can be done by the system, but there is no mass transfer. Okay, like pressure cooker. And the last is isolated system where neither heat transfer is allowed, heat exchange is allowed, or the mass transfer is allowed between the system and surroundings. Okay. So here only one differentiating is mass. You should remember mass. Mass transfer is not allowed. Now let us come to a concept called thermal equilibrium. Now there is something called equilibrium. Okay. So there are different types of equilibrium, like there can be thermal equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, and lastly thermodynamic equilibrium. Okay. Now when we talk of suppose you have seen seesaw children play, no, they sit on either sides, they play. So when both they start, it will be oscillating, then after some time it will come to standstill. Okay, means there is no unbalanced forces, okay, between the system and surroundings, and this is we call it as a mechanical equilibrium. Got it? So mechanical equilibrium means there are no unbalanced forces between the system and the surroundings. This is known as mechanical equilibrium. Now let's come to thermal equilibrium. I take a hot cup of coffee, I keep it on my table, I leave it there for about 1 hour or so, and then come. What happens? I see that the hot coffee what I had kept maybe at 70-80 degrees centigrade. When I come after 1 hour, that will be at room temperature, say 35 degrees centigrade. So what has happened? Now the whatever heat was there in the coffee, that has exchanged the heat with the ambient air and got cooled up. So now they are in thermal equilibrium. That is, the temperature of the system does not change with the time, and the same value at all points of the time. It is need to be in thermal equilibrium. So once it has come to, see, initially it was not in thermal equilibrium. When I kept the hot coffee, the coffee was hot and the ambient condition was 35 only. But over a period of time, the coffee has become 35 and temperature has become 35 and the ambient air temperature has become 35. So now both of them are 35. So then we can call them as the temperature is same, it does not change, and now the system and the surrounding is said to be in thermal equilibrium. Okay, now comes to chemical equilibrium also. In chemical equilibrium also, initially there may be some chemical reactions, but after some time there is no chemical reaction which takes place and the chemical composition is same throughout. Then I will call it as a chemical equilibrium. Now what is thermodynamic equilibrium? When a system and surroundings are in thermal equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium as well as chemical equilibrium, then we will call that the system and the surroundings are in thermodynamic equilibrium. Okay. Now we will discuss about the properties of the system. Now what are the properties? Like volume is a property, mass is a property, temperature is a property, density is a property. These are properties. We define the system by these properties. Okay. So this property of a system is a characteristic of a closed system. Sorry, it is a characteristic of a system which depends on its state. Okay, but not upon how the state is reached. The property of a system depends upon the state. Now I said I am talking about hot cup of coffee. So it is hot at some 80 degrees centigrade. So how I am going to define? So this is the 100 ml of coffee is there at 80 degrees centigrade. So I am defining the volume. So 100 grams of, I am defining it by mass also. 100 grams of coffee is there at 80 degrees centigrade. So these are the properties of the system. So if I take coffee, a cup of coffee as a system. Now this properties, there are two types of properties. One is the intensive property and second is the extensive property. Please again understand, intensive property is any property that does not depend on the mass of the system. It does not depend on the intensive property, does not depend on the mass of the system. Suppose I take that cup of coffee and I share it with my friend. I make it half off. Okay. So when I make half off by 2, what happens? Whether the temperature changes? No, both are having at the same temperature. Whether the pressure of the coffee changes? No, they are at same pressure. Whether the density changes? No, the same density is there for water or coffee in that case. So these temperature, pressure and density, we will call them as intensive properties. But what happens? The mass has changed. I was drinking 100 ml, now I gave 50 ml to my friend. So the mass has reduced. Okay. So this is called as the extensive property. So extensive property is a property that depends on the mass of the system. Okay. For example, volume. I was drinking around 50 cc earlier. Now I am drinking only 100 cc. Now I am drinking 50 cc. So volume has reduced, mass has reduced. So these mass and volume, they are known as extensive property. Okay. Now let's define thermodynamic state. A thermodynamic state of a system is its condition at a specific time that is fully identified by the values of a suitable set of parameters known as state variables, or the parameters or thermodynamic variables. Okay, when we have to define the state, then we define the state with specific variables, parameters like temperature, volume, pressure. In other words, state is the condition of the system at any instant of time described by its properties. Okay. Now let us discuss the various thermodynamic process. Okay. A thermodynamic process is a passage of a thermodynamic system from an initial state to a final state of thermodynamic equilibrium. Suppose, as I said, like I want to drink a cup of coffee. So I have taken cold water, I have heated it to say around 100 degrees centigrade. Then I have added coffee, sugar to that. Okay, the initially water was at 35 degrees centigrade. I heated it to 100 degrees centigrade. So then it comes to that equilibrium. So now this is the process of heating. Okay. So the system has passed through a physical state. Okay. Now let us discuss about cycle. You know, a bicycle cycle, what happens? You crank the what you call that, initial pedal. Pedal goes down, again comes up, goes down, again comes up. So that is a cycle. Okay. Any thermodynamic process or a series of process whose end states are identical is termed as thermodynamic. So if the end state is same, then it is called as a thermodynamic cycle or a cyclic process. Now you can see here there is a change in pressure and volume. Suppose there is the item is at state 1. The pressure is P1, volume is V1. Now we have expanded it, volume becomes V2, pressure becomes P2. Then it comes to 3, P2, P3, V3. And finally again it goes back to state 1, that is P1, 1, 1. So what happened? The end state as the beginning state as well as end state is same. Then it is known as a cycle. Okay, let us now discuss about point function and path function. What is point function? Point function means, please understand this concept very clearly. Point function is that the values which depend on the final or initial states of the thermodynamic process, irrespective of the path taken by the process. Okay. So, since a point function is only dependent on the initial and final state of the system, hence in a cyclic process or a thermodynamic function is 0, the change of thermodynamic property is 0. So the point function means the function it depends only on the end points and not on the path. Okay. Whereas path function means a path function is a function whose value depends on the path followed by the thermodynamic process and not by the initial and final states. Now here what I just want to give example, this heat and work done, which are we will be discussing about heat and work done in a thermodynamic process, they both are path function. Okay, I cannot say that this much amount of because it has come from this pressure volume diagram and all, we cannot say that this much amount of heat has been transferred, this much amount of work has been transferred just by looking at point 1 and 2. If I see, now you can see this PV diagram here, 1, 2, 3 conditions are there, 3 states are there here, state 1, state 2, state 3. State 1, it has got P1, V1 conditions, state 2, P2, V2 conditions, state 3, P3, V3. So when in case of work and the heat, I cannot say that P2, V2 minus P1, V1 is the work done. No. Okay. That is not depending on the end states. It depends on the path. this point function is the property of the system, and we can say that all the properties of system are at point function. Property means, as I said, temperature is a property, pressure is a property, volume is a property. So this point function, these are all properties. And now suppose if I want to say change of volume, okay, change of volume. So integration from 1 to dV is equal to V2 minus V1. It is an exact differential. Okay, if I had to find out the change in volume between V2 and V1, okay, so I will integrate from 1 to 2 dV, that is the small d is denotes the exact differential. If I write dou, then it becomes inexact differential. If I write d, small d, then it is a exact differential, and the term dV is a small change of the volume from state 1 to state 2, and V1 is the volume at the state 1 and V2 is the volume at state 2. This is about point function. Now coming back to path function, we are discussing about heat and work. Here regarding heat, suppose heat, if we denote heat by Q, capital Q, and work by W, capital W. So if I want to say, I cannot say heat transferred like integral of 1 to 2 dou Q is not equal to Q2 minus Q1. Okay, yeah, I cannot write like this. I have to write it as Q from 1 to 2, or I can write Q1 2. This is an inexact differential. Similarly, work, I cannot say dou W from 1 to 2, integration from 1 to 2 is equal to W2 minus W1. No, I will write it as work done from 1 to 2 or work 1 to 2. This is an inexact differential. And here the operator dou is used to denote a inexact differential. Dou Q and dou W are heat and work transfer respectively during the process 1 to 2. Now the process 1 to 2, there is a transfer of heat, there is work done also. So this difference, we cannot write that Q2 minus Q1 or W2 minus W1. We have to write Q1 to 2 or W1 to 2.